this is Petey here. I've been asked more than a few times to do some tutorials on my rave suspenders, so I will. Seems there's some interest in it. Just because I don't use a peyote stitch, I use my own stitch because I don't like the peyote stitch and how it is done as far as the procedure. So first of all, this suspenders is, oh dang it, I know this, it's a mirror view. Okay, so sorry if this is my first tutorial that I've tried to do. So if you take a look at, it is 6 beads across, and it goes, if you look at the this end, it goes low, up, and then down 2, and then up, and then down. So with the normal peyote stitch, it goes down, up, down, up, down, up. This one goes down, up, down twice, then up, and then down. So let me pause this and I'll give you some other examples real quick. Alright, so here are some other examples of my stitch work. Now this one in particular looks like peyote stitch, where you see the down, up, down, right? But it's not, but I stitch mine basically I go from one end and I come towards myself. I don't go, I don't stitch it this way across. I stitch it from top to bottom. If that, like, I don't read, like, I stitch like in English we're reading across, where in Japanese, Chinese we're reading up, down. So I'm up, down here. This is another example of basically the double stitch, whereas you got the down, up twice, down. And then this one is more complex with the down, up, down, then the double, then the down, up, down again. So, I mean, you can really vary it however you want. The big change from how I stitch compared to a peyote stitch is, again, I go top to bottom. I don't go I don't go across like that. I go top to bottom, which for me is easier for me. I mean, that I just couldn't handle the with my hand the way that it is. I can't handle the up, down, across. So I designed it to go up and down. So let's show you how I start it. Okay, so what you're going to need is pony beads, standard 9mm, 6mm, 4mm hole. This is not a beginning tutorial, so if you're a beginner, you can gain insight from this, but I do plan on doing a basic beginner tutorial at some point, but this is not a what do you do. Anyway, you're going to need scissors and you're going to need string. I also am not going to debate cloth covered string versus plastic string. I use plastic string most of the time. I use cloth covered string as well, but my suspenders is the plastic. The main reason that I use plastic is because of the gauge of the plastic string is very tiny. Where with the cloth covered string will easily go through the 4mm, but like if I'm trying to bead something like a pearl, you can't do it with cloth covered string. You need a very small gauged plastic, which is what. Anyway, that's neither the point. Okay, so what you're going to do to start a general length suspenders, you can also use this type of beading for, like, a bracelet, a headband, something like that. You're going to want 2 arm lengths to start. So I take 1, 2 off camera, so you didn't see that, but it's 1, 2 arm lengths. Snip that thing, and Jesus, it's just hard for me to get this in camera. So we're gonna bring both ends together, so it's gonna be even on both ends, right? I mean, even. You're gonna bring them both together. So we're gonna have, um, you know, that it's gonna be there. Okay, you're gonna have. Okay. So this is this. This is. I'm just gonna. We're gonna do a start for the 6, like the suspenders. So we're gonna take 2 beads, 1 on each end, one on each end after you put them together, and that's gonna go down to the center, right? Okay. We're gonna take another bead, and this one's gonna go over both ends. I'm gonna put them through both ends. I hope this is gonna show up on camera. So let's do both ends, and that's gonna go down. Then we're gonna take another 2 beads, 1 on each end. Slide them down. Okay, and here's where we're gonna. Now, if you want to continue with with the 3 to make it look like quote unquote, peyote stitch, except we're going to be working again from top to bottom, not across. This is where you would start with the 3 because it looks like up down. That looks like peyote stitch, but we're working top to bottom. But this, for my suspenders, we're going to do another set of 3. And this is where we do the double. Instead of going another single, we're going to do a double. So let's do the black. And we're going to go on both ends again. Okay. And then we're going to do a single. Let's just follow the same color, red. Let's just do red again. On both of them. Right, the single goes. Okay. On both of them. Come on, buddy, get in there. Okay, so on both of them, and that's going to go down. Okay, and then let's do white. On 1 on each end again. And then that's going to complete the 6 bead sequence there. We're going to, let's go ahead and push this together as tight as we can. I use my thumb and pinch the end together, and we're just going to, situate it. Okay, so we got, remember, so we got 1 like down, up, down, down, up, down. So we got the single, single, double, single, single. Okay. See if we can get that. All right, that's pretty good looking. That's how my suspenders is situated. That's the sequence. Okay, so when we get that nice and tight, we're gonna do that knot. And to start it, I like to do triple knot. And when you do that first knot, you want to kind of get it, It's okay if it's not perfectly tight, but we want to stretch that because it's plastic. We want to stretch it really nice. Okay, and then we're going to do another knot. And then we're going to stretch that. And then we are going to do a third knot. Okay. The knot may lean to one side or the other. That's okay. Don't freak out if it's not perfectly centered in between the two beads. You're not going to worry about that. Now, your inclination is going to go cutting one side or the other. No, let's keep both ends. The reason why is because we can use both ends. One, you can work this end to work this side, and we can use this end to work this side. So we got one piece of string on both sides. Cool, you know. So, okay, so I'm gonna pause this for just a sec. Okay, I just flipped it. Now I am left-handed. So I don't know if you're right-handed. Whichever side you want to start on, I'm not. Either side is fine. So we are going to take a bead, and let's just not make this complicated. Let's just keep the colors the same. Okay, so we're going to take this. This is going to go through that hole, right? Pull it, whoop, and that. Ooh, all right, that's cool. All right, so that's going to go through the hole. Then we're going to put the bead on there. Okay, then we're going to thread it through both of the starter double. Trying to do this and looking at the camera so I can see if you guys can. You want to put it through the double. Come on, get in there, yeah. Alright. And that's going to pull up let's do the. This is so fun. Okay. Then we're going to do another red one. Another red one. And then we're going to go ahead and put that through the white. Okay, and as long as they're seated, you know, it doesn't have to be perfectly seated right now. You can pull it a little bit tight, but at this point there's nothing really to pull tight because you just started it. So now we're going to do a white, following our simple pattern here. We're going to go through the red. Okay, now we're going to do the double black. Okay, and we're going to go through the red. Okay, and then that's seated, and we're going to do a white. Now this is the important. This is the important side. We are going to thread that. This one right here. We're going to thread it. Then we are going to go up. We're going to go up to this bead. We're going to go up, going to go in, and it's going to come down. We're going to come down in between the white and the red bead. I don't know how else to see. I don't know if the camera's showing this, but we're going to go. So we went. Let me just undo it, and then we're going to do that again. See if I can get that. Let me put that closer on camera here. We're going to go, we're going to bead, then we are going to go up to this bead right here, up one, we're going to go up. Now I say up meaning you want this string to go up in between the two red ones, is how you want it to go, and then it's going to come down in between the white and the red bead. I don't know how else to. Then you can pull it, and there you go. Okay. This other string is just, now we want to seat them a little bit, and let's put our hand on top of it, and we're going to pull that sucker tight. Not super tight, but now they're seated. If you can. Now we get to go ahead and let's go ahead and do another red bead, and then we are going to thread them through the double. And we're going to get another red bead and thread it through the white. Okay, and that'll seat the other red one, of course. You can pull it tight a little bit. When I pull it tight, I always put my hand on what I'm working on. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to bead the white, and it's going to go through the red. Okay, and then we're going to do the double black. And you can tell how this is just going to repeat itself. And then we're going to go through the red again. I don't have fingernails, so. And that. Okay, and here's the important one again. We're at that point where this is the important bead again. So we're gonna bead that white. We're gonna go back to the third one now. We're gonna go up in between the two reds, then come down. This is like the most important part of the entire thing. And make sure that seats good. Then we're gonna put our hand on it, and we're gonna tug that tight. Okay, and that is going to, and if you see, it seats when you tug it tight with your hand on it. It's gonna seat the beads that were like kind of loose, and then we are going to repeat it. Let's go ahead and do one more sequence again. Okay, red. Through the double black. If I can get it here. Okay. Okay, and then another red. Through the white. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and come back with the white. It's going to go through the red. And we're going to do a double black. Okay, and then we're going to go through the red. Okay, here we are again with the important bead. Going to put that white bead on there. We're going to go back up to the white, number 4 now. We're going to go up in between. Now, it's also, I cannot emphasize enough how important this is to go over the thread. I can't really, I don't. So you're going to go in and up in between. This is going to come in between the two red beads. It's going to go over the thread, and we're going to come down. We're going to put our hand on it, pull it tight. And it seats the beads. So here we go. Here we are with a nice sequence of the, if you're looking from here, down, up, down, down, up, down. We got the double stitch, and we're just going to continue that. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and I'll work on it, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So okay, so I'm just gonna work on this a little bit. So red. Just thought I'd unpause it and just work on it a little bit so you guys can see some more, but not. Let me put this more on camera, jeez. I can work on it, but you guys can't see it. That's not helpful. Okay. Okay, here we go with the important bead again, right? This is the one back and up in between the two red, and then down in between the white and red. Then hand on and tighten. Tug 1, 2, 3. All right. Then we're rocking and rolling the beads. Usually I'll be listening to some music while I'm doing this, or watching a movie that I've watched a million times as background noise. You know, something. Okay, here's the important bead again. Bead it back, up through the two reds, down in between the red and the white. Kind of guide that down, tighten it up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's go ahead. So as you can see, this side's gotten a little bit short, so I can turn it around, and I got all this string to use to work again on this end. That's why usually 2 arm lengths is good to start with, and if you need more, you can use, you can add, you can tie, you can use your procedure to tie it. Oh yeah, I need to start on that side. Okay, I'm like, something's wrong here. Okay, let's get that. Okay, red. Oh, I got light right in my face, so that. Okay, red. Okay, and then we're going to do white. Now I'm working on the other side, so you're like, well, this is the important bead. Well, it's not, because I changed direction, so the important bead's on this side this time. Confusing you? I'm sorry if I did, but I'm working on the other side. Remember, because this one's short, so now I got the line. I'm working on the other long end. So okay, and then we got we're gonna do the white, beat it. We're still going back one to this one, up through the two red, down through the white and the red. Then we're gonna pull it tight again. I can't go off camera, Pete. Come on, you. There we go. Okay. Oh. Now, a rule of thumb is to kind of count out the beads that you're going to need for a project so that you can see where you are in the project, but I didn't do that because I don't know how many I need, and I'm just showing what to do. So I'm not gonna finish this project here. This is just a tutorial. So okay. So we're gonna finish off these beads, and then that'll be that. If you have any questions or comments, feel free. I would love your comments, positive and negative, and I would love any questions. So here's the special bead, the important bead. Beat it, back one. We're going to go, if you have to lift it up, that's okay. Lift it up through the two red. Not through, when I say through, I mean through the white. It's going to go in between the two reds and then down through the white and the red. That's okay. Then we're going to tighten that up. And this has been a long tutorial anyway. It's like we're working on 30 minutes here, which means I probably need, well, however long it is, but I think you guys got the idea. Because we're just repeating, we're just basically repeating the process. But you can see how my suspenders got formed. You can see how I work from top to bottom, not across. That's so the two important differences between a peyote stitch and what I do is, again, I work from top to bottom, not left to right, right to left, and how I start it with the start. The start's important as well. Now you can go 2, 1, 1, 2. You can do, like, let me get those examples again. I mean, like here's, like, you can, when you start it, you can go, 2, 1, 1, 2, or you can even go 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, like that, and have 3 in between, or 4. I wouldn't go more than 4. I've went 4 before, and it gets kind of unwieldy when you're trying to thread through the 4 at the same time. So maybe not with 4, but you can. I mean, whatever. This is a basic peyote stitch. Well, it looks like a basic peyote stitch, but again, I did it from top to bottom. Now, when I link it together to make a bracelet or something, right? Obviously, that's not going to be there. You're going to link it like that, right? And like a basic peyote stitch, you're going to be working from left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right, where I'm doing top to bottom, and then I'm going to meet the ends and combine them at the end, not the left to right stick. And this one is quite, it's a little bit more complex, where you're going down, up, down, double, down, up, down. This is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is an 8. This is 8 across. And this is a 6 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I hope that gives you a little insight as to how I made the suspenders. I hope you understand a little bit about how I do my stitches instead of the peyote stitch. I go top to bottom instead of left to right. And it just depends on your style, what you like, what works for you. But for me, this works better, and that's that. So thank you so much. I hope you have good beading, and goodbye.